I hope that 2025 is a year of positive transformation for you. I hope that all of the changes that come, whether through means that are heartbreaking or means that are joyful, are presented in a way that lead to your ultimate good. And I know that the past few years have been rough. And I also believe that it's possible that this is a year where you can start to call back the things that were lost to you. Whether you notice that there were parts of your personality that disappeared, maybe you feel like you're lost, maybe relationships that were important to you faded away. I just feel like for a lot of people over the past 5 years, especially, we've all experienced a lot of loss, and this has been profound. And I do believe that many of us have lost parts of ourselves. And there are some people watching this who are saying, no, I feel like I gained a good aspect of myself. And if that's you, awesome, good for you. But I think if you were to stop and really think about it, you'd notice that there was something that was lost as well. Because I feel like a lot of us are still grieving, and it's why so many of us are stressed out and burnt out all the time, even though we may have gotten our lives back on track, even though we may be making a lot of money, even though we might be living in our dream house. There is something that was probably taken from us along the way. And so these goals and these desires aren't hitting with the joy that we expected. I actually believe that 2025 is going to be a year of renewal for a lot of people. And maybe I think this because I'm biased, and it's actually something I'm noticing in my own life is that the things that were lost are coming back. Even my passion for guiding echoes, even my psychic abilities and whatnot, those were all kind of lost for a time. And slowly but surely, they've come back in the most magical and tremendous ways. But I had to take a step back from a lot of different things to create space for that. I had to make room for my grief and depression and just other things that came up, information that's been presented to me over the past few years that I didn't know how to process. And that for the most part, I had to process alone. And if that's you, if that's where you've been, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And I hope that 2025 brings about the changes that you need. I know a lot of people look at 2025 and they talk about how this is a nine number. And so this is a year of endings. And that is true. And I really hope with all my heart that this isn't just generic random things that are ending. I hope that it is the end of things that have been hurting you. I hope it's the end of doubt in yourself. I hope it's the end of you feeling lost. I hope it's the end of people taking advantage of you. And if it's the end of those things, that's great because it also means it's the beginning of you feeling more confident, of reconciliation happening with the relationships that you want there to be reconciliation in. So the truth is, I actually see and feel good things ahead of you. It doesn't mean that there won't be challenges and that there aren't bumps in the road. I do still see some upheaval over the next few months, but for the most part, I do see some really good things happening for all of us as well. And I see some great things happening for you. So, what is really helpful this year is for you to get as clear as possible on what it is that you desire in your life. And try not to complicate this. I know that's really easy to do because when we talk about clarity, we often think that we have to have every detail planned out. And that's not entirely true. Sometimes clarity can simply be knowing the contrast of what we have now. So here's what I mean by that. If you're in a lot of debt, the contrast to that is wealth, right? It's not just being free of debt, it's wealth because in debt we have a hard time paying our bills or we can't pay our bills. and there's this inability to get ahead financially. So, with the opposite of that being wealth, that means that we can get clear that we no longer want this, we no longer want the debt when we want the wealth. So, we want to have money in our savings, we want to have enough money to pay our bills. And it's easy enough to sit down and figure out what that number looks like. And that's a way that you can create clarity. The way we get confused about clarity is when we start to come up with the hows all at once. So it's like, okay, this is the number that represents what I need and what'll help me to feel comfortable and what will allow me to feel wealthy and rich and taken care of. This is the number. But now I have to figure out how. What am I going to do to make this money? What am I going to do to pull this in? I need to think about the taxes. How much money do I put aside with taxes? What type of CD do I look into investing? If I even look into CDs at all, what type of money market account, And so we can get really overwhelmed very quickly because we're trying to get clarity on the whole thing. So take a break from that, take a step back, and just get clear on the end goal for now. And just tell yourself, this is the goal for this year. This is what I want for this year. And as you contemplate that, and as you think about it every day, because that's the best way to hold on to a goal, right? And take steps towards it. We have to think about it frequently. Then, slowly but surely, and in the right timing, the how will begin to reveal itself. And the how can come up through a friend coming up and telling us about an opportunity. It could even be that we just come up with this amazing idea that we hadn't thought of before, or an old opportunity may may present itself again. So there's really so many different ways money can come to us. And that's true of just about any other goal or desire that we have. But we have to have clarity first on what we want. And sometimes the way we get that clarity is by looking at either what's missing in our lives or what we have that we don't want. And when we start going through those changes, sometimes there is a sacrifice that is required. So we have to be brave and courageous and willing to make that sacrifice because you know that you deserve that goal. Like you want it, you can taste it, you deserve it, right? So, with that said, that's just kind of my opening for everybody. I do believe that 2025 is primed with so many different opportunities. It is going to be it's going to be a roller coaster like any other year. There's going to be ups and downs. Energetically, I'm trying to figure out how to, I guess, prepare you. But the best thing I can say is remember how resilient you are. Remember how strong you are. And regardless of what happens out there, out in the world, you still have your purpose. You still have your goals and your desires. So try not to let the noise interfere with that because you're doing work that is important to you. You're going after a goal that is important to you, and you can manifest it. It may not appear at the end of this year, by the end of this year, but as you move towards something, it has no choice but to move towards you. So be patient. All right. So that is the general reading and advice for everyone, regardless of what pile you choose with this pick a card reading. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Also, I do have a manifestation group that's free. If you want more information on that, email me at nicole@guidingechoes.com and I will send you the information for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the readings for this month. This month, I have done 3 different groups for you. So there's 3 different readings. You have group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3 to choose the reading that's best for you. Just rely on your intuition. Pay attention to the pile that is really calling out to you. Try not to overthink it. Just notice which one calls out, and that is most likely the reading that's going to be best for you. If you are feeling called to more than one, check out all 3. It's possible that all 3 of them have information that is important for you or that will resonate with you. There's just no real hard and fast rules when it comes to the pick a card readings. As usual, the timestamp will be in the description area. And of course, if you want a one on one reading with me, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com to order your reading. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in. And this is for those of you who chose group number one. So here we have the Page of Wands in reverse, the Three of Cups in reverse, and the Hierophant right side up. When I tune into the Page of Wands, I get this sense of sadness and loneliness. And when we combine that with the Three of Cups, there's also this desire to isolate. The Page of Wands can be a card that represents this childlike wonder and this desire to be very creative. And when this is in reverse, this could indicate that maybe you're not feeling as creative or as joyful as you usually do. So there's just this desire to pull back and to spend some time on your own with yourself, by yourself. Now, this might have to do with some social issues that you're facing. Maybe something happened at your work or with your team, with your group, with your people that didn't sit well with you. And so you're taking a break to tend to your wounds and kind of figure some things out. And we know that because the Three of Cups, when the Three of Cups is right side up, that card very much indicates being able to socialize. It's about partying, it's about getting together, it's about being with your tribe and your group of people. But we see that you're maybe not wanting to spend so much time with people in this month. Now, you're still most likely going to, of course, go to work and go to the obligatory community meetings, whether that's your PTA or church, wherever there's a group of people. But you will most likely be pulling your energy back, your emotions back. I don't see you being, I want to say, a team player this month. So you'll still, of course, do the things that are required of you, but I don't see you doing more than that. And that's okay. I feel like this is a month where you're probably putting up some boundaries, you're pulling your energy back because you're in this state of confusion and you're just trying to figure out what's my next move. And that may not be something that's clear to you this month. The next card I have for you, being the Hierophant, can represent an organization. But what I'm really getting on this is more of a play on words. I feel like you're wanting to reorganize your life, reorganize your thoughts. You might even be doing this more literally, where you're reorganizing your paperwork and reorganizing your house and your kitchen and that sort of a thing. So, overall, what this is painting towards is you creating sort of a fresh new start for yourself and needing to pull back from other people so that you can create a space that truly reflects you. So, you might be working on your environment this month, but I do also believe that you're working on your inner world as well. And remember, a lot of times our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. I also want to say that for many of you, I do see you continuing to lean on at least one person. And I feel like this is someone that you go to for advice. But what I'm also seeing is that I feel like you're working on a project with someone. This could be that you're writing a book or launching a new business, or maybe you are doing some remodeling or redecorating in your home, but you are engaging in something that maybe doesn't necessarily require the help of another person, but it just makes it more enjoyable to have this person around and to bounce ideas off of. I do see this being someone who you're friendly with. And so this could be a hired professional who is helping you to get organized or do something in some way. But it feels like there's some companionship here as well. So, this is a fun sort of project in person for you, I guess you could say. So, if you're finding yourself feeling kind of sad and wanting to isolate and not feeling so sociable, just remember that's okay. I mean, it's literally in your cards. This is a time for you to reevaluate your soul's desires, where you're heading, what your core values are. There's going to be a lot of self contemplation hitting you this month, and that's by design so that you can really get clear about what's missing in your life and what you want to move forward towards so that you're not feeling quite so lost and quite so disconnected from your own soul. All right. Okay. I will say one more thing about the Hierophant, even though I just moved it aside because I want to pull out the other cards, is the Hierophant can represent a community of spiritual minded people. So it is possible that in February, you start looking into that. So that could be an online spiritual group. It could be something like the Guiding Echoes Psychic Development Circle that I host online, where we practice different psychic gifts and abilities and whatnot. But it could also be that you find a spiritual community, even if it's like a book club or a manifestation club in your area. So I don't see you diving full into that type of a community. It's more like you're just kind of dipping your toe in the water to see what's out there. Because again, I feel like February is about you reevaluating everything because you're really looking for things that will feed your soul. And so that's why there's this natural separation between you and your usual friends in your usual community. They're just not filling you up in the same way that they used to or in the way that you currently need. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your other cards. Here we have the 10 of Wands, followed by the 2 of Cups. And let's see, next we have the 3 of Cups for you, followed by the Queen of Swords. All right. Very interesting story forming here for you. So, when we look at this second group of cards, what we see is first of all, we have this card, 10 of Wands. And every time I see that card, I think of heavy is the head that wears the crown. The 10 of Wands indicates that something has come to an end and you're moving towards something else. But this move isn't easy. This move is a struggle, but you have grit, determination, strength, and resiliency. And you might feel as if you're moving through all of this alone. You're carrying something, the weight of different situations that you didn't get closure to, different emotions that haven't healed yet, different thoughts that are bombarding your mind. It just feels so heavy. However, you are moving through these heavy emotions, through these heavy situations with skill and determination. You may not always be gracious about it. You may find yourself wanting to scream and maybe even throw things or scream into a pillow or punch a pillow because there's a lot of anger under the sadness too. Like there's just a lot of heavy emotions here. And so I want you to know that it is encouraged for you to find healthy ways to work the sadness and the anger and the frustration out because you are moving through some very difficult energies right now. So that's not just in your head. I also want to say that for some of you, you're feeling this heaviness in your body. It might be showing up as different flare ups. Maybe you have arthritis that's popping back up. Maybe you're noticing heaviness in your shoulders. For some of you, you're noticing IBS issues and autoimmune flare ups. This is not just in your mind. You are moving through some very stressful things. I also feel called to tell you that you are moving these energies to make way for something good. You're clearing energy right now. In my mind's eye, I saw like this huge bundle of all this different energy together, and then it split down the middle, and some of the energy started moving to the left and other energy started moving to the right, and it was clearing this path for you. So you're clearing energy so that you can clear the way. I know this feels heavy and uncomfortable, and you probably wonder what's the use of any of this, but just know that you are making progress, even if it doesn't seem like it or feel like it. So, the next card we have for you is the Two of Cups, and this is a card about new partnerships. Now, I don't feel that this is a romantic card. I don't feel like this is about a new love life or anything like but this is about, I think that for many of you, this is about some type of new opportunity. There will be a person or persons involved in this, but this feels more like business or friendship. So, this isn't something that has a deep romantic layer to it. This is going to be something that I want to say is actually more soul fulfilling than that. So, you might find that as you're moving and shifting through this heavy energy, and as you're taking a step back from your usual social circles, that new opportunities start to open up for you. And what I'm also sensing is that there's going to be, for many of you watching that chose this pile, you're going to notice a door open up for you that has seemingly been closed for a very long time. This might be a door that you forgot about where you were like, this is an opening for me. I'm letting it go. I'm going to move on to something else. That's going to come full circle for some of you, and it's going to open up to some bright new blessings. Now, what's interesting is we have the Three of Cups in this card, in this second layer. And so this Three of Cups is right side up. So this indicates that you moving through these heavy energies, you forming this new partnership or forming this new friendship is going to lead to you socializing with the right people, but you have to go through this uncomfortable session first. Now, I do feel like it's important to say this. I don't feel like this is going to happen. This card right here, the socializing, is going to happen in February of 2025 because I do see you isolating and reorganizing and doing all the things that we talked about. I do see you doing that through most of the month. This is something that comes later. So, the reason that this popped up for you is because it's the universe's promise to you that better days are ahead, that stronger friendships are forming, because we see that in both of these, right? So you have a new social group that's coming in for you. And this is something that is meant to make you feel good. These are people who are going to see you, hear you, and really adore you for you, not because of what you can do, not because of your skill set, not because of something you can offer, but they like you. So, this is going to be a beautiful transition for you. You just got to be patient. The next card I have for you is the Queen of Swords. And so this is always a very interesting card to me. So the Queen of Swords is sometimes seen as someone who's very cold and calculating. But sometimes we need to be able to step into that energy, not just to protect ourselves, but so that we can be sure that things are what we think they are. I got to tell you, group number one, you've been hurt. And I feel like this hurt happened very recently. And I believe that the Queen of Swords popped up because as these new friendships are beginning to form, and as you're moving this energy of the heaviness you've been dealing with, I don't think you fully trust what's coming in for you. And so, while this is a possibility for you, and I definitely see this happening, the Two of Cups, the new partnership, the new friendship, the new whatever it is, that newness is coming in February. It might be later in February. For a handful of you, it might even be the very beginning of March, but for most of you, this is happening in February, and this is probably going to happen in a later month. But as this starts unfolding, you're going to feel like that Queen of Swords because you're like, I just don't trust this. Like, you want to dive in and you want to have faith and you want to trust and you want to experiment. But there's also this part of you that wants to just kind of pull back and watch everything to make sure it's safe, to make sure that this is what you think it is. And you know what? I feel like the universe is giving you a thumbs up on that. I think that the universe is telling you absolutely make sure that you take a step back and observe, make sure this is all what you want it to be, make sure this is all kosher. So take your time diving into this new community. Know that there's no pressure for you to rush in. Everything happens at its due time, and your time is coming. So I do see good things on the way for you. You just have to shift through all this other yuckiness first. All right, the last card I have for you is Archangel Gabriel. And this card says, I invite Archangel Gabriel to bring hope and intuition into my life. So I love this card for you because I think that being able to trust our intuition is such an important part of being human. And of course, we're all spiritual beings having a physical experience. And when we go through a situation where we feel like we've been hurt or betrayed by our community, by life itself, and we're having to move through heavy energies on our own, when new friendships come in, when new opportunities come in, when new communities present themselves, we don't always trust it. And if we can start trusting our intuition, then we can do a much better job of gauging whether or not this new opportunity is something that we can trust or something we want to be cautious about. And you may be in a position right now where you're like, Nicole, I don't trust my intuition at all. Like, I wouldn't trust my intuition to decide what type of sandwich to get at a sandwich shop. Like, that's how bad my intuition is right now. So, Archangel Gabrielle is showing up for you because she's saying that she'll guide you through this. She is an angel of creativity and, of course, hope and intuition. She is a angel that can help bring renewal and fresh starts. So if you are not trusting yourself, start reaching out to Archangel Gabrielle, and you can ask her to provide you with signs, with wisdom, with discernment. And ask her, invite her to come into your life and help you to figure out the reality from the illusions. What's real? What isn't? Who's honest? Who's lying? Gabrielle will help you to sift through it all so you can know for yourself which opportunities are real and which ones are not in your best endeavor. So, my friends, I do hope that this was helpful for you. If you would like a personalized reading with me, please be sure that you visit my website at guidingechoes.com. I'd love to work with you on a private reading. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, be sure you do so you can be notified. Well, of course, turn on notifications and you'll be notified when I release new videos in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Hello, my friends. This is for those of you who chose group number 2 for your first set of cards. We have the World, the Two of Cups, and the Star, all right side up. So, my friend, wow, coming into February, you are someone who is very focused on where you want to go. And you also have this bright, beautiful spiritual energy guiding you. Those of you who chose group 2, your intuition is on fire. And we know that because, well, for a few reasons. First of all, I want you to take a good look at this card with the world. We have the lotus flower opening up. She's on top of the world. There's all these orbs around her. She's in deep meditation, which to me indicates that she has a very strong, centered spiritual life. We also show that she's working on transformation of some sort because her hands are open and we have these beautiful butterflies flying out from the palms of her hands. So we see this being a very life fulfilling card, but as I'm tuning into it, I'm also hearing the word sacred. This is a sacred practice. She is creating a sacred life for herself. Her eyes are closed, but she is deeply in tuned with spirit right now. I don't even think she's focused on anything in particular. I just feel like she's got this very strong connection and she's feeling everything so vibrantly. And this connection between her and spirit is what's fueling her and helping her to make the right decisions in life. I also feel that it is fueling up her psychic battery. So, this isn't someone who has a distinct vision of her future. I feel like she knows what's ahead of her for the most part, and she has her wants and desires and her goals. But you know what else she has? She has a lot of trust and faith in the universe. She believes that if she falls, the universe will catch her, and that's a wonderful place to be in. And so all of that transpires to you. The spiritual life that you're manifesting, the desire to live life according to a strong purpose, to get closer to spirituality, to manifesting things that make your heart sing, you are on the right path for all of that. Also, for many of you with this Two of Cups card, you are attracting love. Now, if you are already in a relationship with someone, if you have noticed this relationship has been stagnant or it's been boring, or the two of you still have a friendship towards each other and you still love each other, but not in the same way you used to, I feel like many of you are going to experience a resurgence of the passion, of the fun, of the way things used to be probably when you first started dating. And sure, Valentine's Day may play a little bit of a role in this, but I do see there and feel there being a closeness that may have been missing over the past few months. So there is this rekindling of a romantic and meaningful connection. So you guys are reconnecting in a profound way. And I see this lasting for a while too. So this energy doesn't run out in February. It looks like it continues to it continues to be pretty prevalent until about April. So, for those of you who are single and wanting to bring in a new relationship, I feel that this relationship is very close to you. Now, that said, oddly enough, I don't see many of you bringing in your actual soulmate or your person or partner, whatever you want to call them, whatever title. I don't see you bringing in that person this month. You may go on some dates, you may have some romantic fun, but as for your actual soulmate, I don't think that person shows up in February. However, energetically, they're here. Physically, they are not. And so, what that means is that I feel that many of you know what type of partner you want. I feel like if I were to ask you, what are you looking for in someone? You would rattle off this long list, and you know what? Good for you. You're not being too picky, you're not being too choosy. You know exactly what you want and what type of energy matches you. And you've already called in the energy of that person to the point where you might even feel this person near you sometimes, even if they're not physically present. So just know that you're on the right path. You are going to meet your person this year. I feel that very strongly. For many of you watching this, your person is coming in. Again, I don't think that they're going to come in February, but you're going to feel them energetically in February, which might actually be really frustrating because you're like, I feel them. I'm having dreams about them. I can sense them. Why aren't they here yet? They're coming, okay? They're on the way. So just be patient. Keep pouring that energy into manifesting this wonderful person because that person is on their way. Okay, the last card we have in this, for this set is the Star, and so the Star is about wishes coming true. It's about guidance, and I feel like this is so much about knowing that your inner guidance, that your inner compass is right on target, that you can trust it, that your intuition is right on point. I also want to say that you are guided by the stars and the moon. I think that for many of you who chose this pile, you are probably deeply into astrology. And I feel that you have been able to notice all of the alignments happening within the stars are also taking place in your own life. And so you are receiving spiritual guidance, not just through astrology, but through your higher self, through your spirit guides, through your friends who are a little more woo woo, and through videos like this. So, good things are definitely on the way for you because with the star representing guidance and wishes coming true, this is the universe letting you know the things you desire are definitely on their way to you. All right, group number two, let's take a look at your second set of cards. Here we have the Seven of Swords, the Hierophant. Oh, that's funny. The Hierophant showed up in the last reading. And for group number one, the Moon. Oi, okay. And the Six of Cups. Interesting. Okay, my friends, we need to have a little heart to heart. All right. So, this is alarming. And what's popping up for you is a warning. Now, nothing bad's going to happen to you. Let me start by prefacing that. You've probably heard the saying that like attracts like. And I feel like that needs to be changed to like maintains like, because when you are a vibrant, bright, beautiful person that emanates and radiates wonderful positive energy, when you're the type of person who's friendly to just about everybody, when you're the type of person who doesn't want to let others down, then you attract not just good people who are like you, but unfortunately, you also attract people who have malicious intent and manipulative qualities. And so that's coming up in your reading. So the Seven of Swords indicates a thief. This is someone who's trying to steal something from you. The Hierophant can represent a leader. It usually represents, well, in old school tarot, it represents the Pope and can represent the Catholic Church. So here it can represent a spiritual leader or an authority figure or some type of an organization. What's really standing out to me is the person. So I feel like this is representing someone in authority or someone who has some level of expertise, or at least is presenting themselves that way. We're going to get back to that in a second, because here we have the moon, and the moon is a card about lies. The Six of Cups, we're actually going to get into a little bit later because this is important, but I'm really being drawn to these three cards. It's kind of alarming, to be completely honest. It's alarming that these popped up. So, what this is saying is that you are this beautiful, bright spirit. You're attracting love. You are divine. You emanate this wonderful, beautiful, positive energy, and that has been your intention. Your wishes are coming true. You have guidance from the universe. Group two, you are on fire in the best way. Like your glow up, it's not coming, it's here for many of you. The problem is that there's someone coming into your life, and someone who's probably already here, who wants to steal that from you. Now, the Hierophant is what I want to talk about, because there's someone in your life who, for many of you, I think this person's already present, and he is presenting himself. And I do feel very strongly that this is a male energy, but for some of you, it could be a female who maybe has strong male energy and male qualities. This is someone who presents himself as being knowledgeable, as being an expert. He may come off as an authority figure, but the reality is that he's probably stolen a lot of those ideas. And he's lying to a lot of people, and probably to himself, about either the level of success that he's achieved, about his intentions with new friendships, with organizations he gets involved with, definitely with romantic relationships. This is just a man who is out for himself, and he will do anything to get what he wants and desires. So he will steal your ideas. He may even literally steal from you. He may steal your money. Sometimes narcissists and sociopaths, which we're clearly looking at here, will get close to somebody, and they'll kind of start stealing, not kind of, they will steal parts of your identity, of your personality, and they will embed that into themselves so that they come off as more likable, more genuine. Because remember, narcissists and sociopaths don't typically have solid personalities, they wear different masks. So if you have these bright qualities that they want, but they don't have, they're going to mimic them. And they'll start talking like you as well. If you're just like this really beautiful, positive, bouncy ball of energy, which I think many of you are, and you get excited talking about certain things and you just light up, this person, this sociopath or narcissist, is going to lean in and smile. And not for the reasons you think. It's not because they're that interested in you and what you're saying. It's because they want to take that from you. They've noticed that you've lit up, and they want to mimic that light up for themselves when they're around other people. And so they start mimicking you. And it feels really weird when you're around someone who does this. Like when you notice that someone is taking your words, and they might be posting your jokes online, jokes that you came up with, or insights that you channeled. They'll take that and they will share it with other people as if it's their own insight and ideas, because that's who they are. It feels awkward. And if you're a nice, kind person, you may not know how to broach the subject, especially if this is someone you look up to. And that's a very difficult situation to be in. So, this person could be a supervisor or a manager at your job. It could be someone who is a higher up in your career path. It could be an actual teacher, like what we've got going on here. For others, it could even be someone in your social circle that just talks a lot and seems to be knowledgeable. Could also be an influencer on social media. Someone who pretends to have a lot of knowledge, but is actually just stealing that knowledge from other people, stealing their experiences and stating that it's theirs, or publishing people's stories without asking their permission first. I've known people like this before, and they will suck you dry. So you have to be careful with that. So, this person is in your life, and this is just a heads up to be careful with this person. And because you're so intuitive, I think you already know that something's off with this person. even though they talk a good talk and they put on a good show. By the way, I also want to stop and say, look at how grandiose this person is. Like, this person probably isn't very humble, even if they pretend to be, but this is a show off. Like, look at his fancy clothes and his big hat. Like, this is someone who loves to be center stage. And someone who loves to be center stage and needs that for their very survival probably isn't going to be very good about sharing the spotlight with you unless it somehow makes them look good or benefits themselves. So be on the lookout for this person. Again, for many of you, I think this is someone who's already in your awareness. I also want to say, please be mindful of who you're watching on social media. Be mindful because I've known a lot of people who have these great social media presences and they even get on TV. They might be on different networks that are known to have a spiritual aspect to them. And while they come across as seeming very sincere and knowledgeable, behind closed doors, they are bitter. They abandon their children. They cheat on their partners. They steal ideas from their partners. Like, they are just bad. So they'll go out and they share the spiritual message. They may talk about energy. They may talk about manifestation and being close with the universe or whatever it is. But in their private lives, they are not who they present themselves to be. So please be very mindful of who you're giving your attention to online, who you're subscribing to, who you're giving your money to, because there's so many people in this field who are authentic and genuine, and sadly, they are being shoved to the side while narcissists and sociopaths steal their ideas and get paid for it and get rewarded. So, again, if you feel like something is off with someone and you can't quite put your finger on it, please trust that. Remember, you are the star. You've got that star energy, which means you have a strong inner compass and inner guidance that is guiding you. You can trust your intuition. Even though this person looks good and even though he's presenting himself as a spiritual authority, he is surrounded by the Seven of Swords and the Moon. He is a liar and a thief. So be careful. All right. So the next card I have for you, I know that's heavy, right? But I've had this happen to me. I've totally had this happen to me. I don't want this happening to you as well. So I'm grateful on your behalf that these cards came up the way that it did, because I don't want anyone to steal your light like someone once stole mine. It takes a long time to get it back. That said, we now have the Six of Cups card. As I look at this card, I feel like this card is about reciprocity. Now, it's typically or traditionally about nostalgia or giving, but I'm hearing reciprocity. The way that you can know if you are dealing with someone who is altruistic in who they say they are is by their actions, by observing them. And someone who is good and genuinely wholesome and loving is going to reciprocate your energy. In fact, I think that most people who are good and altruistic and are spiritual have a certain innocence to them. I think that they have a certain hopefulness to them. They have just like this childlike wonder that hasn't been squashed. And if it has been squashed, they somehow went through this amazing healing journey in order to get that back. And they're able to see the world through eyes of wonder and curiosity, and they see the beautiful magic in the world. And that's probably someone who's a good match for you because you're the same way. And so you want to find people who can show that type of energy, who genuinely and consistently show that side of them. And of course, you want, like we said, someone who is giving, someone who's not just taking. I can guarantee this person gives very little. This Hierophant right here, this is someone who is going to be a taker. Now, he may give on occasion, or he's going to give when it's going to make him look good. This is probably not someone who donates anonymously. And if he does donate anonymously, he's still going to tell people about it. He's going to be like, oh, yes, I donate to this shelter or organization, but I didn't tell anyone about it because I didn't want the praise for it. And it's like, why are you telling me now, buddy? Mission failed. So this is going to be someone who is giving out of an altruistic nature. They're not concerned with attention. They're not trying to get noticed. This is someone who has such good qualities about them, and you're going to notice that, right? You're going to notice it. And so, this is a different type of look at me energy because you might notice with kids, like, obviously kids when they want your attention it's because they admire you. They want you to be like, hey, good job, pal, that's amazing. The there's this innocence that kids have when they're trying to get your attention, and it's to make you proud of them. And this person, just the hierophant here, just wants attention because it feeds his ego and he needs to feel important. Or this child in the Six of Cups, that type of energy, when they want your attention, it's because it makes them feel good, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that they genuinely want your approval. So so a lot of cuteness there. Okay, look at this. The last card I have for you is the Wheel of Life. And it says, I am guided by the cycles of life and live in complete harmony with them. Look at how cool this is. I'm going to take these cards out of the equation for a second because there's a saying, the way it ends is the way it begins. And look at this. These cards look very similar. So I love that we have the Wheel of Life and the World both together, because what this tells me is that you are so deserving of all the good things that are coming in for you right now. And I don't know if you know that, but it's in your cards. The Wheel of Life speaks about cycles, and we can also talk about it as karma. But you're in a season right now where you are reaping, or you're about to reap, the benefits of all the good that you've been pouring into the world, into yourself, into your life. The intentions are coming into fruition. Everything is coming full circle. For some reason, I also just tuned into that some of you are going to see justice playing out. So, a situation that was unfair is going to even itself out. And you know what's interesting is I feel like you're so far above it now that by the time this happens, you're not going to care. This is probably something personal where someone painted you as a bad person or said that you did something you didn't do. So basically, they lied about you, kind of like the Hierophant energy that we saw earlier. But this is going to be from quite a while ago. That's all turning around, and your name is cleared. Your reputation is clear now, probably because the other person revealed themselves or whatever. But you're going to see justice served out, and your reputation is going to be reinstated. But like I said, you're so far above that now that you don't even really care. I think you're just going to shrug your shoulders and be like, oh, well, that's nice. Like, it's not going to be a big deal for you. Um, but the universe has no other choice right now but to allow that to happen because of how deeply you've been meditating. So I will say this, the fact that you had both the World and the Wheel of Life pop up, and these both show people who are in deep meditation, there is definitely a call for you to continue with or either start a very strong spiritual practice of clearing the mind and getting in tune with the spirit world, with the energy of the universe. Meditation is a great way to do that, but maybe that's not where you are right now. So, ways that you can do this can be that you sit down for a few minutes and you listen to 8D music. 8D, not 80, just so we're clear. So, 8D dimension music or bilateral beats. So the type of music where you put on headphones and you hear the music moving back and forth between both your ears, that can be very calming to the mind. And that's really what meditation is. It's about quieting the mind and quieting the chatter so that you can connect to spirit, or so that you can simply let go of the anxieties and worries that have been following you throughout the day. Meditation is a wonderful tool for refueling your body, mind, and spirit. So, if that's something you can commit to, I strongly encourage it. But if not, there's other ways that you can fuel your soul. You can listen to spiritual podcasts, you can find different YouTube channels that do have altruistic spiritual thought leaders who maybe talk about positive affirmations and, of course, very positive things. Coloring is a way that you can kind of reach your zen, but find what works for you. You know, some people dance, some people play music or play the drum, but there's something you can do that can get you into that spiritual zone where you just feel that connection to the universe. All right, my friends, I hope this reading was helpful for you. If you would like a personal reading, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com to get that ordered. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification button, and you'll be notified when I release new videos in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. All right, and this is for those of you who chose pile number 3. For you, I have the Eight of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Five of Wands all right side up. Interesting vibes we have for you, group number 3. So, first of all, the Eight of Pentacles is usually about making money. But what's nice about this card and how it's different from other cards that indicate the ability to make money is that you are in the zone. So, there's this good flow of finances coming your way. You're doing work that you enjoy, and you've entered this sort of Zen like state where you are a master of whatever it is you're creating in order to receive money. So I feel like this reading might be about your career or whatever it is that you're doing to bring in money. For some of you, it may be a side hustle. I'm also hearing some of you are getting ready to start a business, and there may not be money coming in yet, but you're in the flow when it comes to creating and crafting and designing the products and services that you intend on selling. So you're in the flow when it comes to the creation. Some of you are also in flow when it comes to the different aspects of a business like the paperwork and filing for the license. I see there being a lot of joy and excitement there, which brings us on to the next card, which is the Fool. So the Fool is about stepping into something new, some type of a new situation. But when you look at the Fool, you'll notice that she's moving forward, but she's looking behind her. So she's not very astute or aware of her surroundings, and she's about to fall. And what's interesting is the next card is the Five of Wands, which is about chaos and fighting. You are very hyper focused on a particular outcome or on a particular project that you're working on. So, whether that's your career, whether it's a hobby, whatever it is, you're very, very hyper focused. And you're so hyper focused that as you're moving forward, you're only paying attention to this. Because even in the Fool, it looks like she's looking at this card over here, the Eight of Pentacles, because you are so hyper focused and you've got your goggles on and you can only see what's ahead of you and what you're throwing your energy into. You're about to walk right into something that's dangerous. There's some type of fight that's happening around you. There's at least some type of danger. So because you're so focused on whatever this is here, you are missing something that is not in your best interest. So, if you're in a relationship and you're throwing a lot of your energy into your work and into your career path, it's very possible that you're not noticing the fact that your relationship is falling apart or that your kids are starting fights at school, or maybe you're aware of it, but you're just kind of brushing it off. So there is some type of energy here where you're pouring so much into one thing that you're missing something else. For some of you, you are tuning out purposely. You're purposely tuning out things that would affect you negatively, but you have to be careful because sometimes the things that we don't want to pay attention to, the things that we're avoiding, are the things that are going to blow up. There's a quote I heard a few months ago that I really like, and it said, conflict avoided is conflict multiplied. And that's very true. So if you're avoiding a tough conversation, if you're avoiding an argument, or you're not speaking up about something you're not in agreement with when it comes to your partner or your boss, or something you're uncomfortable with, then that could be paving the way for this right here, where there is a fight, where there is something that happens that could really hurt someone. So you want to take a good look at all areas of your life right now and ask yourself what's working and what needs your attention. Not because it needs to be fixed, but maybe because it needs to be discussed. Also, I do want to say that for some of you, I feel like you're so focused on whatever this project is, or the career, whatever this represents to you. You already know what it is. And there is a danger in being that hyper focused, not just because you're missing out on something that could potentially harm you, but I feel like, well, for example, if you're working on a business, if this is in fact your business, and you are working on creating a new product and a new website, all the things that you need, and you're so hyper focused on that, you may not be paying attention to things like the business license that you need to get, or the insurance that you need to file for in order to go to different vendor events, or to even market yourself without getting in trouble. So just make sure that all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, because this is something that can come back and harm you. And obviously, we do not want that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your second set of cards. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles. So that's new money coming in. Awesome. Possibly some new stability of some sort. We have the Hanged Man, followed by the King of Swords. And then next we have the Five of Cups. Okay. Well, I think I have an idea of what you've been avoiding. Okay, my friends, we have to have a tough conversation. I think some of you who chose this are in a relationship that is harming you. And the reason I say that is because now that we've got this second set of cards, there's more forming to your story. I now understand why you're focused on whatever the Eight of Pentacles represents. You probably need to acquire enough money so that you can get out of whatever the situation is. And I also think that with the tensions at home, and with the uncertainty of how someone in your life may behave on any given day, that you've thrown your energy into something else because your relationship is so harmful. If you're not in a relationship and you're watching this, you might be saying, well, I'm single, so that doesn't make any sense. Well, I would then ask, what is your relationship like at your work? What is your relationship like with your community? Because there is something toxic here. And the universe and your intuition are using this to get your attention. Now, if you are unclear as to who this toxic person is or what the toxic situation is, then sit with it for a while, because typically what happens is your intuition will let you know when something or someone is off. And sometimes this isn't just about a person, it can be a whole environment. So it could be a cult. Like, you may not have realized that you entered a cult, and you did. And now you've got all these weird feelings and you're noticing things that don't match up. But everyone in this cult seems so nice. But behind the surface, below the surface, maybe they're not. So you just want to pay attention. I do see financial abundance coming to you. I do see some new money opportunities opening up for you. That's typically what the Ace of Pentacles represents. And I love this because that's a great match with your Eight of Pentacles. So you are happily making money. And we also see new forms of money coming in. And this new form of money is providing you, or has the ability to provide you with more stability. So we like this. The next card, being the Hanged Man, is about two things. It can be about seeing things from a different perspective, but it can also be about discipline. And I feel that for this reading, it's actually about discipline. Now, you may have to change your perception on some things, especially when it comes to money. So, what I feel for you, group number three, is that when money comes in, you may want to use it as a means of escape. So you might go shopping, or you might go to the spa. Like, there's something nice you want to do for yourself. And that's okay to do, so long as you can make sure that you can really afford this. Like, it's not going to hurt you. The problem is that when it comes to discipline with finances, a lot of times it doesn't feel good. If we're working on building our savings account, if we're working on building in more money, if we're working on starting that new business or getting overtime, that means a sacrifice has to be made. So that means that we're working more hours than we usually do. So we don't have as much time available. If we are putting money into our savings, then we're not able to splurge as much as we would like. And so that doesn't feel good either. So when it comes to creating something new and building wealth and building security for ourselves, there is this state of being highly uncomfortable. And we may feel like our world's been flipped upside down, like this guy probably does. We feel the strain of not being able to spend our money in the way that we want to, because we're well aware of how we should be spending our finances instead. We know that we should be putting it away because we're needing to get out of a certain situation, or we need to create stability for ourselves so that we have more choices and freedom in our lives. The next card we have is the King of Swords. And that's interesting because the Queen of Swords actually popped up for group number one. But I feel that the King of Swords is ready for a fight. And this might be you. Because when we look at this card, this person is sitting down. And even though he's sitting down, he definitely does not look like he's relaxed. He's got a tight grip. Like, look at that. He's white knuckling the sword. Like, he's ready to stand up and fight at any given time. So he doesn't trust who's before him. Now, this may be you. You may feel like you're on high alert all the time. You may feel as if you're ready for a fight. You may feel as if you're unsafe most of the time. And this could also represent a person in your life who makes you feel that way. There may be someone that you live with or that you interact with on a regular basis. So this could be a coworker, could even be a neighbor, could be a supervisor. There's someone you interact with regularly who maybe is unpredictable. And so you don't know at any given moment, are they going to be peaceful and willing to discuss things? Or are they going to be in one of their moods and going to want to fight? Or is this someone who can be sneaky and covertly malicious because they know how to insult you maybe in front of other people, but they make it sound like it's a compliment or a joke, and really deep down the two of you know that he just handed you an insult. You know what I mean by that, right? There's people who sometimes know what our triggers are, and so they'll say something in front of others that sounds innocent to everyone else, but it's actually an insult to you. So you're dealing with some type of personality that is toxic, and it's leading to this Five of Cups energy right here, where even though you're doing what's right for yourself, you're putting your energy into something that clearly makes you happy, because that's what the Eight of Pentacles is. You are starting something new because we have the Fool and we have the Ace of Pentacles. And so we know that there's more money coming in for you to provide stability. But we also have this Five of Wands, this Hanged Man, and this King of Swords. These are heavy energies. And this leads to this Five of Cups, where you just feel grief. Like there's so much grief. So I feel like this King of Swords person that represents both you and someone else, it represents you in the fact that you're just kind of on edge. And it represents the other person and the fact that they kind of look for a fight. I think that they like to toy with you. And they do this on purpose. Make no mistake. This is very intentional. They like to push your buttons. It's leading to this feeling right here at the Five of Cups. So at the end of February, towards the end of February, you may notice this massive shift where you're excited about this new thing, you're working towards it. And while you're still excited about it, this thing that you've been avoiding, this Five of Wands, and the pressure of needing to save money or be more disciplined, combined with this energy of someone who's not nice to you, it gets to you. Oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm looking at this and it's just heartbreaking. Like the Five of Cups is such a heartbreaking card because it's a card of feeling abandoned, feeling used, and it's also the sense of loss. Like with the Five of Cups, there's this sense of grief because you lost something that was important to you or something wasn't the way that you thought it was. So when it comes to this month, remember that you are setting a foundation for yourself. And you can't avoid these emotions. Like this is going to come up one way or another. And I know that people really get upset when readings like this pop up, but I understand why that is. But it can be nice on some level to get a heads up so that you know how to combat it when it shows up. So knowing that February might shift into a month where good things are happening and they're still happening at the end. Just to be clear, at the end of the month there's still good things happening. You're still providing, you're still creating stability, you still have more money coming in, like all this stuff is still there, but you have this on top of it. Maybe start creating a plan for yourself. Who can you talk to when you feel low? Do you have a therapist or a counselor that you can connect with once a week? Are there different practices that make you feel good, like EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, or some type of meditation that can help you to really navigate the emotions that you're feeling, or journaling? Like what helps you to navigate these emotions and to process them safely so that you can go through them and get on the other side and still be okay. So that's what you want. That's what you may want to consider for this month. And if you're lucky enough to get away from this situation, whoever this person is and whatever that situation is, this can, of course, be avoided. So remember, readings always show you the most probable outcome based on your current trajectory. It's not set in stone that this absolutely will happen, but it is saying this is what will most likely happen if you continue down the path you're already going down. I do believe that this gravity of the sadness can possibly be made lighter, but I don't think it can be dismissed completely, at least for most of the people watching this. Okay. Um, the last card I have for you is the Moon Goddess. And what's interesting to me about this card is there is this sense of coldness to it. Like as I look at it and I'm just like feeling it, I think about winter. I think about those cold nights where there's not a cloud in the sky, but all you have is that bright, beautiful moon. And this card says Moon Goddess. It also says, I am in harmonious flow with the moon's energy in all phases of life. And I think this is so good to remember because our emotions go through different phases and life goes through different phases. And sometimes when we're doing something really good for ourselves, it does come with grief. it does come with heaviness because it also comes with change. We know something's shifting. And also, when we're doing something good for ourselves, the person and people in our life who tend to be more negative can become nastier. They'll say horrible things, they'll do horrible things, they'll cut you down, they'll send you the evil eye. Like, it's just awful. So, this is having a direct effect on you. And that's unfortunate. And it's also okay because you're not doing anything wrong. You're actually setting things up in your best interest so that you can create a life that gives you freedom and choices. And so remember, this is all part of a cycle, right? It says right here, I'm in harmonious flow with the moon's energy in all phases of life. So this is a phase that you're going through. You're not going to stay there, you're going through it. The sadness may last for a while, but it's not going to last forever. And I would also say that I feel like this card is also an invitation to remember your magic. Even when you're going through difficult times, remember that you have magic inside of you and you are magic. Every cell in your body is made up of magic. And I know that's hard to remember when you're going through difficult times. But the moon also reminds us of renewal. And so you're in a state of renewal. It may look and feel like loss, but it's actually renewal. All right, my friends, I hope that this was helpful for you. If you would like a personal reading with me, you can visit my website at guidingechoes.com. I would love to set that up with you. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe, hit those notifications so you can be notified of new videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.